Well, I think today was a language lesson. Language in the sense that so many different ways of talking about what we're all aiming for were being sort of flooded in, and then a lesson in the sense that it was set up to begin with in quite kind of teacher and student mode, but then gradually it became more inclusive and people were essentially learning from each other.
What underpins the theme of the day in a way is the understanding that virtual reality and mixed reality, augmented reality, whatever you want to call it, it's a new medium, it's a brand new medium, which means that there are no books you can buy to find out how to tell a story in those mediums.
Today at StoryHack, what I've been talking about is generally our working process, emerging technologies and how we work with them. And as well as that, we've been exploring just the trajectory of all these new technologies that embraces all kinds of different storytelling techniques.
I thought it'd be a good idea to set the scene for the day so that people had a very high level grasp of the basics of virtual reality with the stereoscopic images and the head tracking, the 360-degree ability to move your head and look around.
Me and Nick Driftwood, we ran a lab into 360 Cinema. There was also the Project VR lab that light surgeons and the workers were involved in. So they were quite sort of closed spaces for artists to sort of collaborate together to answer some big questions around the possibilities of this new technology. And it was great just to be able to sort of, share some of that, unpick some of the findings of that, and share that with an audience that included people who might be able to help make those happen in the future.
The really interesting kind of topics that have come out from my perspective are this real appetite for collaboration, not just within the creative sector, but also how we can bring together academics, people in the creative space, but also technology providers.
In order to make new theatre about and with technology, you need to be open to many more conversations.
How do we get the creators and the technologists together? And that's been the main question coming up again and again through all of the sessions. So that's really surprising, and it's very good that there was such an element of funding people here, because their issue seems to be, well, hang on, the model of funding is that we have projects with objectives, and obviously in this case we need massive amount of open experimental spaces. How does the funding appear for that?
It's typical kind of early days experimentation and figuring out what it is that's happening.
People don't want to go and do this in their bedrooms, that people want to have a communal experience, and it's how do you make that happen?
The way in which audiences engage with artistic work is very different these days.
So there's something really beautiful about the challenge to artists and creatives to how do you direct people's attention when they've got so much to choose from. Feels to me like quite a sort of powerful question anyway.
It's been very interesting to kind of hear some of the emergent conversation about how people are trying to find solutions to be able to tell a narrative, to be able to really immerse the people who are using their technology and not just treat it as a shift of channel.
Right now, all over the world, there are 15-year-old kids and professionals from the cinema industry and professionals from the gaming industry racking their brains and experimenting, particularly those 15-year-old kids, in what you do when you have a new medium like VR. What do you do with it? Some of them are trying to make lots and lots of money, and some of them are just trying to make cool stuff. And it's important to be part of that dialogue if you want to be inspired about the work you're doing.
I think it's important that something like StoryHack is happening. To move on and to keep fresh and keep refreshing, you need to talk to other people. And I've come away feeling really enthused.
I just think actually in this room, there are people who can make more of this happen as well. So, today's a good chance to do that really, I suppose.